Ladies and gentlemen, in the background, Brett will now demonstrate on an actual Romeo Lima Foxtrot both hard and soft points. Brett, go ahead.
If you're going to shoot him, if you shoot him in the leg, it'll slow him down. It'll bring him to his knees and go right back up. You shoot him in the chest,
Easy, watch it, Brett,
that'll slow him down, but he'll still come back. There's only one place to deal with this monster. You shoot him in the head, right in the head, between the eyes. That's how you get him.
Watch it, Brett. Stay on him, guys. Stay on him. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just seen here is not pretty. I don't enjoy this. I don't think you will either, but it's a necessary evil, if you will. I don't know anything else to tell you about this.
That's right, viewers. The only way to kill those Zeds is to shoot him in the head. And Scorpio Hartley here, world-renowned combat mission expert and guide, bringing you another episode in Combat Mission Black Sea. And this time we're going to set up a trial of a company of Abrams lined up against a Russian force of T-90s who are going to be our Z force today. And our Abrams are SEP version 1, the Systems Enhancement Package, uranium depleted armour, so super hard, something the Australian Army didn't get in their M1A1s. Maybe they'll get them soon. And we've thrown in a Bradley as well. So we've got 10 Abrams and a Bradley, and there's a force of Zeds over there on the far left. And this map is huge, 3 kilometres deep, 2 kilometres wide. We can just about reach out and touch those Russians now. And we've split the fill of this map into blocks, each about 1 kilometre square. The centre road splits the left and right sides, and each of these tree lines in the road bisecting the map roughly equivalent to 1 kilometre square. So you split the map into 6 quadrants, and we've got some trees to replicate some Ukrainian battlefield. The map is flat. Entirely flat. There's no hills, ridges, dips, grooves, gullies, nothing. And as our opposition force, we've got Russian T-90AMs, which Wikipedia, obviously the best source in the world for this sort of insight, says that it's equivalent to the T-90M breakthrough tanks the Russians are using now in Ukraine, which have got the contact ERA on the front hull and other parts of the protecting the turret. And we've got I think it's 30 of the T-90AMs, and I've thrown in 2 tank destroyers, Chrysanthema with radar guided ATGMs, which will be needed by the Russians to help them out. I've given no orders, or the only orders I've given for the red team is to get to the other side of the map. Then the orders I've given to the blue team stay where they are. And so really relying on the AI to direct the battle on this one. Let's see if we can get started. Russians over there, and we're using the scenario author test format today because otherwise we wouldn't be able to see a thing. Can we see the Russians right now? Let's get the zoom function out. And we can see them right now. They stand out like the proverbial ribs on the ground. The tree line doesn't block line of sight. I would assume that the tree lines in Ukraine are actually thicker than that, but for the purposes of our test, that's what we're going to do. I can have a closer look. I can actually see straight through the past the trunks. Pretty thin tree line. You can tell me whether that's realistic or not. I thought that was not unreasonable, given what we want to do today. So let's get this party started. And those Russians are going to head straight for us. Those Zeds are going to be dead. Hit that go button. Eventually. How many seconds until the first shot? Laser warning, smoke goes out. 5 seconds. Taking their time, hits. Tanks firing, laser warning. Let's have a look at this tank destroyer. Get hit, first casualty, that's going to hurt the Russians. Russians trying to reverse, doesn't help. Confusion reigns in the Russian lines as they attempt to build a wall of almost impenetrable smoke. More casualties, but there's return fire from the tank destroyers in the back. That Russian contact ERA is impressive. Bloody hell, Russian tank fire hits hard. Check the survivability of the Abrams, just immobilized. Useful to look at the Russian AI in this case. They seem to have built a wall of smoke and then dropped out another wall of smoke in front of them and then moved forward with some Russian tanks on the right moving over to the tree line and develop another wall of smoke there. I've been given them orders to do this. This is entirely the AI. Then the order I've given the Red Force is to reach the end of the map by the game end, which is only 15 minutes. So they've got to make time. It's interesting to see the Russian offensive use of smoke here. Meanwhile, the immobilised Abrams becomes a sitting duck. These Russians have a powerful defense, possibly ranging shots, hit in the turreted machine gun. Hit on contact ERA. No penetration. No penetration. Although he is now immobilised. No penetration, no penetration. Damage to the subsystems, extensive. Always double tap. Even the Russians double tap. And that was the dual firing tank destroyer throwing ATGMs out. Russian losses don't prevent their advance. They stop and fire. Take fire. Abrams pop smoke and try to reverse behind it for cover, but it doesn't always work. This is a good overview of the Russian situation. They've moved from the left of the map over to the right, advanced probably nearly a kilometre, 2 kilometres left to go, taking losses, still using smoke in mass to hide their formation behind it. And the Abrams, on the other hand, are using their smoke in a kind of shoot and scoot manoeuvre, which often seems to expose their left side hull. Abrams losses are beginning to mount. Another hit to the left side hull. When the Americans run out of smoke, their shoot and scoot manoeuvre becomes quite dangerous, and they need to keep moving as their only defence. Damn it, another Abrams goes down. Russians are still taking casualties. There's now a very thin blue line of Abrams against the horde of T-90s. Abrams have run out of room to do shoot and scoot. Once they're immobilised, they become sitting ducks. AI for the Abrams continues to expose their left side hulls to enemy fire. And that was our last remaining Abrams. Surveying the battlefield, it's just carnage. The Russians seek to destroy even non-burning wrecks, destroy our crews. Just nothing left. Burning Bradley didn't get a shot off of its tow missiles. And with no vehicles left, we decide to cease fire, and ends up in the worst result I've ever seen in this scenario, even though I've played it through a dozen times. US Army major defeat, they lost 10 vehicles and the Bradley, and the Russians have lost 11 T-90s, all with 5 minutes left to go. So a very easy win for the Russians. Those walls of smoke made a real difference. And survey the battlefield. The Russians have now they've gone from the left to the right, and they're going back to the left again. The tank destroyer was the hero of the hour. 3 Abrams destroyed, and the rest of the Russian vehicles either got none or 1 Abrams to their name. And there's something of a similar story from the US side. That vehicle got 1 T-90, that vehicle got 1 T-90. 2 T-90s, 2 in the tank destroyer. Bradley got nothing, 1, 2, I think. It's hard to see the screen from where I'm recording. and won. Tragic loss for the Americans. The Zeds overwhelmed us. And it's useful, I think, to look at the double tap from the ATGM launchers, the tank destroyer Chrysanthema, and just how effective they are. This Abrams gets hit twice through smoke, through two banks of trees from the radar directed ATGM launcher 3 kilometers away. Without the kills, 3 kills from the Chrysanthema, then the Russians would be in deep trouble. And this is the result of a scenario run without those tank destroyers. The Americans lose 2 of their tanks, but the Russians lose 25 and promptly surrender. It's a really great impact those Chrysanthema have on the battlefield. If you're Russian, don't leave home without them. And you might ask what would be the result if the sides were turned. The Americans had 30 Abrams and the Russians had 10 T-90s. Well, the results are in. 0 American losses for 8 destroyed Russian, and then the Russians promptly surrender. Game over. Job done. 0 to 8. US Army total victory.